Hey, what's up, everybody? The V Club here, the Villain Club, anything and everything. Nothing's off the table. And so what it's all about. I mean, literally anything and everything. Lifestyle, entertainment. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. But anyhow, let's just get to it. While we have Sleepy Joe Biden over here, just kind of chilling, sleeping his last days in office. All right, doing all kinds of weird, shady shit. Let's get over here. Let's get to it. All right, so Uh, where do I begin? Now, this is something I've been wanting to talk about the last couple of days, but here we are. Let's talk about what's been in the sky, right? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it UFOs? Right? The UFOs are back. No, it's you know, something's in the sky though over many cities, reportedly, right? Reportedly over the cities. So what the hell is going on around here, right? Mainly, I guess they were spotted in New Jersey skies and all that, and it's gotten more and more visible in other places, right? And so it's just a mystery, right? It's a mystery. And the way they try to explain things, it really doesn't tell us anything, you know? And so it's just funny how it is. But I wanted to look at a series of clips just to kind of show you guys what is going on and what some of these so-called government officials are saying, which they're not really saying a whole lot. And when they say what experts say they are, it's like they don't really tell you anything. Um, but yeah, let's see where they've been spotted so far. Let's go take a look at that at least.
The
But it's funny though, because when it
All right,
comes to
now let's
this,
go over to
before
Joey.
we talk about it, it's funny, all right. You would think that if there's anything flying in United States airspace that's foreign, right, and just there, they're not airplanes, they're unidentified. I mean, wouldn't we think in common sense that we would just shoot it down, right? Take aim at it, shoot it down. And I know that oddly enough, there is rules that you can't just shoot down anything that's flying in the sky, right? Because that's considered breaking the law. Amongst all these different laws that are being broken anyways in general and not really being enforced, it's actually against the law to shoot down drones in the U.S. That is right, because they're treated as almost like aircraft. But at the same time, if military, U.S. government military especially, can't identify it, shit, I shoot that shit down. I mean, you're in our space, our U.S. airspace. You're there, just hovering about, and then who knows what is being done, what business is being done, like conducting. They were saying that it hovers and zigzags, out and about in places reportedly as big as the size of small cars and things like that. And it's like, man, this is crazy stuff here. So, and it's been talked about these last few days. So at first I was just like, whatever, right? But then it's being talked about more and more. So it's like, what the hell is going on around here?
Touchscreen for an in-depth look at these mysterious drone sightings. Joey, what can you tell us?
Yeah, guys.
So let's see where the sightings are now. Because at first it was like New Jersey, and then various, not various, but just a couple other places. But now it's starting to be more and more. So let's see.
We don't have a lot we can tell you, but we can zoom in and point out some things. So first thing I want to look at is here's the United States, right? And these are the places where the drones are being spotted in high concentration. And so I just want to point out, when you look at Florida, California, and then here in what we call the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, what do those places have in common? There are a lot of military bases in those places. That's where the majority of our military bases are. And then you come up here to this northeast area, and what does that have in common? High concentration of people and things that emit frequencies. And so that's one of the first things we look at here is they're being spotted in places that could be sensitive. And then we move on and we look just here in the Northeast and look at some of the places specifically that these have been spotted. We're talking about Picatinny Arsenal Military Base, a very sensitive place. Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster. We look over here, we see Naval Weapons Station, Earl, Joint Base, McGuire, Dix, Lakehurst. And what we worry here is when we have Kirby come out and Mayorkas, they've never lied to us about anything, but when they come out and say, we don't know what these...
And if you didn't know that, it's an exaggeration, all right? He wasn't serious about when he said they don't lie to us about anything. It's an exaggeration if you didn't catch that, all right?
Well, that discredits the safest and best theory right now, which is that this is U.S. testing what our capabilities are, what our defense mechanisms are. So those two things go against each other, and that leaves us all wondering either that the government doesn't know or they're not telling us the truth. And then the pictures we get, the videos, are not very good. The only reason I want to point this out is one point was made. I saw it on Twitter. I've seen it, or X, and I've seen it from the other experts. And it's this idea that if these are nefarious in nature, why are they using their navigational lights at nighttime? Wouldn't they want to be stealthy? It's a really, really good point. And then you see this is actually a second picture, and this is the quality we're getting, so it's hard to make much of it. And then we move on here to some characteristics. This is all through the reports. We haven't downed one to look at it and see this. This is the supposed characteristics of the majority of these drones. They're 6 to 10 foot in diameter, which is pretty large. We've heard as large as an SUV. And then many of these quadcopter drones are pretty small. They're flying above the FAA's 400-foot height regulation, but they're flying low and slow, so radars don't pick them up. And they're so small, even at 6 foot in diameter, if a radar did pick it up, it would register more like a bird, and it wouldn't alarm anything. One report says they don't give off heat, which not sure what you can draw from that other than what type of power source does it have and what type of payload. Is it a camera, a weapon, delivering a package? What's in it? And then lastly, we have these colorful blinking lights, which again makes us question, well, if it's nefarious, if it's spying, why would it give itself away? I'm going to give you my opinion, my synopsis, is that it's a little bit of all the above. Drones are not just the warfare of the future, they're the way of the future. How we receive things, how we see things, how we do safety on job sites. Drones are used in so many facets and so many industries already today, and AI technology is only going to expedite that quite a bit. So this is really the precipice of the technology that we've come to in this century, in this last decade, and I think that these sightings are indicative of all the things. Some of them are airplanes, some of them are U.S. or commercial drones. There was a Chinese citizen using a drone over a military base. There have been multiple military bases here and abroad who have reported this, feel like they're getting their airspace invaded by a drone of unknown origin. All these things are happening.
Why you shoot that shit
We're just
down.
looking up more now. So are those 5,000 tips all bogus? No. Were they able to trace some of them to an origin that isn't scary or need explanation? Maybe. I don't trust the FBI that much either.
Well, if they don't...
Yeah, you can't trust anybody. You can't trust the government. Because it's not like that it's going to straight out say, oh, yeah, this is what it is. Even if it's something they're conducting, they would never tell you anything that they're conducting. I mean, you could go as far back as the whole UFO stuff back in the 60s and 50s and all that, all the sightings, all the conspiracies, the Roswells, all that UFO stuff back then, right, that you don't really hear anything about anymore, right, which is pretty funny. It's kind of like that was the past in terms of technology, right? During that time that there was being tested and all that, and then now that technology has been advanced, come 50, 60 years later, right? You have more compact and it's become more mysterious because it's more of they're hiding these things more and more, even though it's in plain sight at the same time in the sky. It's not like what the UFOs are in the past, and it's kind of, to me, similar to that scenario, except no aliens, obviously. But it's just funny to me how you would think that these sort of things flying in our skies, if it's not ours, you shoot it down.
No, that's terrifying, and if they do know and they're not telling us, they better get us some answers. Great deep dive there, Joey.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Let me see here. Let's see. Let me look at this Australian. What their take is. Usually Australia is very impartial.
It's not.
And they tell it like it is from the Australian point of view of what's going on in the U.S. So it's pretty funny.
Donald Trump has weighed in on the mystery drone sighting seen in the US in recent days. Over the past week or so, the FBI has received thousands of reports of mystery drone sightings. However, the agency has said that they've been unable to corroborate any of those reported sightings. Now, in a post online, the president-elect has called for the drones to be shot down. Joining me now to talk about this is Professor Avi Loeb, astrophysicist and director of the Institute for Theory and Computation at Harvard University, and Avi, a prominent speaker on what people now describe as UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. I think that stands for these days. What do you think these things are?
Well, as Richard Feynman observed, we must be careful not to believe things simply because we want them to be true. No one can fool you as easily as you can fool yourself. And to me, all the information available implies that these mysterious drones fly like human-made drones, and others appear to be airplanes or helicopters. It's standard practice for the U.S. military to notify law enforcement authorities of any plans to fly drones over residential areas. And therefore, these unidentified drones must have originated from civilians or an adversarial nation. The latter possibility should not come as a surprise, because there was the Chinese spy balloon spotted back in January 20.
He just made it.
2023, and
so 2023, there was a Chinese spy balloon that was, I think it was shot down, if I recall. And at first they couldn't identify what it was, and so until it got shot down, and then that's when they found out it was a Chinese spy balloon, And then it's like, so we allowed it to happen, and didn't ask any questions, right? Just let it be.
It was eventually shut down by the U.S. Air Force off the coast of South Carolina.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's put this in the wider context, though, Avi, because since then, American lawmakers have been much more open to discussing unidentified objects in the skies above North America, haven't they?
Yes, indeed. The Director of National Intelligence submitted 3 reports to the U.S. Congress, and a new office was established in the Pentagon to examine these reports and figure out whether these unidentified objects are of national security threat or perhaps even extraterrestrial in origin. And so far, they figured out that...
Well, shit, whatever the case may be, whether it's a threat or if it is extraterrestrial UFO, you still shoot the shit down and ask questions later.
Most of them can be human-made or have mundane explanations, but a few percent are unclear. And, it's an admission by the military and the intelligence agencies that there are things flying overhead that they don't know their nature, and therefore it needs to be figured out, and especially if these things belong to adversarial nations. So I think it's a priority to figure out what these things are, and I'm leading the Galileo project at Harvard University. We built one observatory that monitors the sky 24/7. We just released a paper that discusses the first 500,000 objects that we found in the sky, some of which we couldn't identify. And we are building 2 other observatories in order to figure out whether there are any extraterrestrial gadgets out there.
You're not alone in this. I know others have been pushing for different things. We've seen whistleblowers in recent years pushing for the government to open up its files on what they may or may not know about these phenomena. Do you think Donald Trump is more open to this kind of thing? Do you think we could see a change in the next year as he becomes the president once more?
Well, the fundamental question is whether indeed the U.S. government has materials or information that has nothing to do with national security, that indicates visits from outside the solar system. I don't know whether that's the case. The whistleblowers did not witness the evidence directly. They heard about it. And it's possible that it's being held by corporations like Lockheed Martin. As a scientist, I can only attend to real evidence. And my hope is that if the government has such evidence, they will share it with scientists.
They would not share shit. Come on, man. When is the last time the government says, okay, this is what we're doing in the skies? I know, sorry, guys. No, they don't do that. All right, they've never done that. They will never do that. This is ridiculous. I've had enough of this bullshit here. All right. Let me see here. This is reportedly just an hour ago from the time of this video. So let's see what's going on in Southern California. What's going on over here?
Okay, now back to those drone sightings, which continue to spark concerns across the country, with more videos being posted every night.
Yeah, they've become such a problem. They've even started shutting down an airport. KTLA's Gene Kang is live for us with the latest. Good morning, Gene. What's the news here?
Hey, good morning, Megan and Lauren. A lot of folks are reporting these issues. They're seeing these drones at night or early in the morning when the sun is not even up. Now, we got some new video from a viewer here at KTLA. However, this is causing some big problems on the East Coast, even shutting down a runway at New York's Stewart Airport. Well, this is a very big issue.
Sure.
Moving lights.
Let's see it.
Okay, we love it. So what is this? Just hanging out.
So this new video from KTLA viewer Sharon shows what appears to be a drone over the San Fernando Gardens community. That was at 4 o'clock this morning when she sent that over to our newsroom, with multiple other sightings across our part of the country. A TikTok user captured video of possibly 5 drones in Riverside. They've been spotted in Temecula as well earlier this week. So exactly what's going on? Temecula is near Camp Pendleton, a military base, but the Marines say they're not involved. Riverside County Sheriff, well, he suggests the drones could be from Southern California Edison, which inspects power lines with drones. However, the utility company says they don't fly drones at night. The Riverside County Sheriff's Office has received no formal reports, but is referring all concerns this morning to the FAA, which is now investigating. Well, the sightings began last month in New Jersey with reports of large drones, some the size of a car, flying at night. Since then, they've appeared in New York, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, and California. One local TikTok user captured footage of at least 10 drones flying over the city, saying that they vanished after turning off their lights. The FBI says they've received 5,000 leads since November. The Department of Homeland Security says they believe the sightings are manned aircraft and not drones. But for now, there's no evidence the drones are a national security threat. However, lawmakers are demanding answers this morning.
Sound like they're waiting until it's too late.
We should be doing some very urgent intelligence analysis and take them out of the skies, especially if they're flying over airports or military bases. We should be shot down if necessary.
You can see they're very large. They're not the size of a commercial airliner, but they're the size of a vehicle. Because if they get lower, they would get substantially bigger. And I can see that. I could tell. It's not a hobbyist. And there's so many around New Jersey throughout the whole state. Everybody's seen this for 3-4 weeks now. That imagine how much money this must cost.
And locally here, the people have been showing the videos of drones here in Southern California. They say it's a big concern to them because they feel like their privacy is an issue and someone may be spying on them. Of course, we're going to hear from drone experts.
Yeah, there's particularly spying on that one particular person. And that thing is looking at me.
Talking about what is legal and not legal. That's coming up in the next hour. Reporting live here in Hollywood, Gene Kang, KTLA 5 News.
I mean, you just see it everywhere. That's all you see. It's being seen here. It's being seen here. And we saw the map, right? It's being seen in as much as, 7 states. No one knows what it is. And, what are government officials saying? Let's see here. I mean, it's common sense to use military response, but we all know what's going on, right? I mean, This is what's happening if you don't know what's happening already, right there. Sleepy Joe Biden. He doesn't give a damn what's going on right now. That's what's happening. Look at this guy here. He's gonna tell us nonsense, right? Don't believe in what you see, type of thing. Oh, don't worry about it. Let's see what this guy has to say.
Looking with Brian Bergen and Burnsville, New Jersey Police Chief John Remian. Gentlemen, great to see both of you. Brian, to you first on this, I want to get your reaction to John Kirby earlier today downplaying these drone sightings. Listen to this.
Using very sophisticated electronic.
So, White House National Security, all right, communications advisor. So he's going to tell us what is going on here, right?
Detection technologies provided by federal authorities. We have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings. To the contrary, upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully.
Brian, you are an Army veteran, former Apache helicopter pilot.
So if they're just hovering around, right, and it's legally hovering around, it doesn't make sense.
And you actually worked to stand up the initial unmanned aircraft training battalion in the Army. Oh, but John Kirby says these are manned aircraft that are flying over New Jersey.
Yeah, John Kirby's an idiot. I said that earlier today. I didn't even know who the guy was. But I mean, what a fool to say that. Number one, I am a member of the state legislature here, former Army attack helicopter pilot, who's seen these things with my own two eyes, is lying. And the colonel who's in charge of the New Jersey State Police said in a briefing to 50 lawmakers that he had a helicopter of his hovering directly above a 6-foot drone. And he had that helicopter land because he feared for their safety if the drone acted erratically. And we don't know what's going on, but this clown in the White House does? I don't think so.
So, Chief Remian, I mean, you've got to hear this, and you know the questions to ask. You know probably what can be done or where the authorities lie. As an outsider, I look at this and say, if you want to know what one of these are, follow it or take it down or do something like this.
Exactly.
Chief, why is none of that happening? Why from the outsider's perspective, does this look like absolute chaos?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on tonight. I think this goes far beyond a local effort. This is a federal effort. And, simply put, we're here at the local level, we're being asked to provide answers to questions that we simply cannot.
All right, whatever. Let me just see. Last thing I want to see. What does Trump have to say about this? All right, let's see what he says. All right, let me look at this. Even New York shuts down their airport. I mean, isn't that crazy that things like that are happening, but yet the government's not doing nothing?
There is a buzzing sound coming out of New Jersey in the US, and it's unclear if these are drones or it's something else. But for sure, the nighttime sightings are producing a lot of talk and several conspiracy theories as these sightings have been increasing. The saga of the unmanned aircraft, drones or something else. Some theories suggest that the drones came from an Iranian mothership. Others think they are the Secret Service of the U.S. making sure President-elect Donald Trump's...
Yeah, so there's accusations saying that it's an Iran mothership. It could be Chinese-made, spy drones. It could be military.
Bedminster property is secure. But later, Trump jumped provocatively into the fray, calling authorities to shoot down the mysterious drones.
Exactly.
There's one over here in the distance. Look how close they are to each other. Over here.
Then there are certain theories suggesting worry about China. Some elected officials have taken to criticizing President Joe Biden's administration for its supposed inaction. Since mid-November, residents of New Jersey spotted large and medium-sized objects flying around their neighborhoods. Some were also spotted in Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Staten Island. About 6 craft and red and green blinking lights were seen.
Imagine the ones that can't be seen, how many of those are flying around. So imagine the ones that are being seen, right? With these mysterious lights and the size of them and all that. Imagine the ones flying in the skies right now as we speak, right? That can't be seen because they're in some sort of stealth mode, right? Imagine that. Some crazy stuff. But you know, with all this, nothing's going to be solved. Nothing's going to happen until we either shoot it down or that thing does something to us, right? And it seems like with Sleepy Joe Biden in office there, you know, just sleeping his last days in office and having fire sales on border wall materials and doing all this stuff, just giving more money to other countries as we speak, having an open border. You know, the country's soft as we speak right now until Donald Trump steps in. We're going to be stuck in this sort of mode of just no action, no nothing until he's gone. And it's just sad because, you know, you're going to have to imagine the worst that's going to happen with these drones before we could get something good to happen out of it. We got to shoot those things down. That's the bottom line. Anyhow, that's just my thoughts. I just wanted to share this with you guys. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, hit the bell icon. That way we can stay on top of daily updates on just things going on. All right, anything and everything. That's the V Club. I'll see you next one.